how many of you are looking at or are aware of having any kind of hormone imbalance going on? Okay. All right, I'm in the right place. I always like to ask, confirm, right? But to tell you a little bit of my story, so it was about 2010, and to give you guys reference, so I guess I'll tell you I'm only 29. But I feel like way older, simply because of the fact that I've managed so many other people's health, right? That you realize how old you are by all the knowledge that you've accumulated almost. And so back in 2010, I went to a doctor's appointment after choosing to stop taking birth control. It was my mom's way of not having the sex conversation, just here's birth control. And I was like, okay, all right. So I was on birth control for a while, all through my teens. And as an adult, right, finally able to go to the doctor and make my own decisions, I said, I'm going to stop taking birth control. And I noticed that I had a period that lasted, birth control 7 days, right? Well, it lasted about 2 weeks. And then I was like, okay, something feels weird. So I go to the doctor and she says, well, let me know if it lasts a little longer and then, come back. Well, right, how many of you are really ambitious? How many of you are really ambitious? You set goals, you go after them like it's nobody's business, right? So you're used to probably burning the candle at both ends sometimes? Yeah, I'm speaking from experience. I say that because something possessed me to look up a period tracking app because I was working full-time at my job. I was also going to college full-time. So, right, burning the candle, stick at both ends. And as a result, I'm buying another box of whatever, right, feminine products, and I'm like, okay, another box. I look it up, my app is telling me that I've been mensing for 54 days. Yeah, right. And I thought to myself, okay, all right. And I call, and I'm like, yeah, I thought I was supposed to call you about a week ago, probably 2 weeks ago. And they hang up on me, and I'm like, well, that was rude. And while I'm thinking about what to do next, they end up calling me back and saying, go get lab work done and go get an ultrasound. And so I go do that, and that's when I learn I have polycystic ovarian syndrome, right? And her solution was, at that time I was about 70 pounds overweight, or actually no, it was 40 pounds. There was a point where I transferred to another school and gained what I call the transfer 30. Freshman 15, then transfer 30. So she said, we can get you on birth control pills because that's what was managing it. So that's why you never knew it was there in the first place. So you might have always had this, and birth control just kept it quiet. Okay, well then no, I don't want to get back on birth control, right? That makes no sense. And then she said, are you thinking you're going to want to have kids someday? Oh yeah, someday, once I get a ring on it. And she goes, well, you'll probably have trouble getting kids, and you'll probably have trouble, losing that weight you've got, and, it was very doom and gloom. And I left that office feeling that way for a long time, and around 2010, that's when The Secret, that kind of stuff started coming out. I'm sure you guys might have heard about that, power of, law of attraction. And, I was hearing that stuff, but, it's still new, and I was hearing it. But essentially, it took me about 2 years. 2 years to figure it out. 2 years of trial and error. 2 years of supplementing and not supplementing. And so that's where, my mission in her honor really comes from my mom. My mom recently passed away at the beginning of this year. And in her honor is where I'm focused on helping women get rid of that guilt, fat shaming, guilt and super supplementation, yo-yo dieting, because I saw her do that through my lifetime, right? And so that's where my wisdom comes from, as well as anyone that I've ever worked with. It was something that I saw her do, just in terms of, not eating because she's afraid of how she looks. And so a quote came up for me, or actually a specific verse came up for me. Let me share it with you. And because you guys let me do a prayer, I assume I've got Christians in here, right? So let me share this prayer with you because I think it speaks to this message exactly. The fear of human opinion disables me and distracts me from God's plan. Trusting in God alone protects me, gives me confidence, and makes me feel validated and secure. Proverbs 29:25. So this was given to me right after I lost that 70 pounds, that verse was given to me, and then on the back of it, it was, you were prayed for. You have been sought after. And it was just at another, a church friend saying, hey, I made this, and this was laid on my heart to give to women. And I thought, wow, this is going to mean something. And so how I say in full circle, I feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be, definitely. And in honor of my mom, helping with women letting go of that stuff, helping us stay on mission, right? Whatever that mission is, and not letting anyone else's thoughts, ideals, or opinions of what you're supposed to look like or how you're supposed to feel interrupt you from getting to where you're supposed to be. So what I gave you here was a handout of 10 tips on how to balance your hormones and lose weight, okay? And I'm going to kind of read through it because I'm going to give you guys a little bit of story as well. And I know we only have like 15, 20 minutes, I think. Well, they're going to let me know how much time I have. So I'll go through it. So first and foremost, I say feed your soul, right? Feed your soul. A lot of times we neglect things that are important, right? Like family and friends. Oftentimes there's just that friend you need to talk to, right? And you vent to them and somehow all your troubles just kind of whittle away. If it's the right person. The wrong person could do the opposite effect and make that anger or frustration even worse. But first and foremost, I say feed your soul. And oftentimes when our soul is looking for something, it can be confused by looking for food, right? That's sometimes where we're starting to self-medicate with food and things like that. So checking in with yourself and going, what do I really need before you run after whatever that thing is? I think of that because I have my comfort foods. The things my mom gave me when I was young, right? Banana pudding is a big one. Hot Cheetos, if I'm going to go to some of the not so good food, but hot Cheetos was one of those. Ramen noodles because it was super easy, right? But it's one of those things that mom gave you real quick, and she always it was always there. And it was warm and yummy, and it came from my mom, right? Drinking water. I know I had trouble with this because when I first started trying to lose weight, I'll be honest, I didn't drink water at all. When I looked it up, I found that the recommendation for drinking water is half your body weight in ounces per day. That's just so that your body is working normal, okay? That's normal, meaning that if you're getting less than that, there could be things going wrong. And that's actually where hormone imbalance starts, right there. One of the things I noticed when I actually started doing this, and it took me about a month before I finally got it down to getting that water in, but when I did it, I lost 15 pounds, 2 weeks, once I consistently did it every day. Because that's just how out of whack, my hormones were. That's how much water my body needed to push whatever it needed to get out. Okay, so I always say when you think of water, I know it's hard because sometimes it's flavorless and it's tasteless, but the benefit is young living now, right? You guys have lemon to put in there, your citrus, and all those yummy things to put in there. I didn't have that at the time. And so I'm so excited about this, but I diluted. So I used to drink a lot of pop and juices, and when I think of even back then, I lost weight still having high sugar things, not even realizing it, but diluting. So whatever you can tolerate. 3 parts water, 1 part juice, if that's what you prefer to have, or add your oil. Eating more plant-based foods or adding more veggies in there. They're doing great these days with things that they didn't have when I started, but like rice vegetables, right? Replacing rice, but with just rice vegetables is a very easy way to do it. But essentially, these things help you to feel full longer, right? It's the fiber we're looking for in that. So eating real food. I'm sure you guys with Young Living, how many of you read ingredient labels? Yes. Yes, I love you guys. Yes, you're my people. You're my tribe. So, right, avoiding things with high fructose corn syrup or a long, unpronounceable list of ingredients, right? So if you don't know what it is, don't buy it. The main frustrating thing to me is that so many quote-unquote healthy things are not healthy. Though gluten-free. Well, yeah, it might be gluten-free, but now it has tons of potato and tons of sugar to compensate for the wheat that they removed, right? So I know I'm probably talking to you guys and you're just like, yes, but preach that to your people as well, because that's how this movement's going to happen, right? So even though we're all young living, I think to myself, we don't all know that though, right? We don't all know to read an ingredient list and to avoid those unpronounceable ingredients. So eat breakfast, right? Anybody skip breakfast today? No? Okay, awesome. Okay, I got a couple people that did. But I say, if you can, anything, even if it's an apple, even if it's a banana, a piece of fruit, or a piece of bread, that is going to help balance your hormone level throughout the day. Because what happens is when you get up, you've been burning energy, you get to the very minimal, your reserves more or less, and then your body has this, pretty much it's like a huge need. You become reptar. That's why those Snickers commercials are so big and hilarious. They're speaking right to it. That's your hangry coming out. So if you can avoid feed hangry long before it needs it, it'll be better off. I got a few more minutes. So eating mindfully. So try not to watch TV. Do you ever notice that if you open a bag when you start watching something, it's gone by the time, before you even know it, actually, in most cases. That's why the movie theaters make so much money, because everybody goes to refill when they gotta go use the bathroom. And then get moving. So I didn't actually work out or do really any exercise when I lost weight, to be honest. I started to exercise later because I had that whole, I'm afraid of what I'm gonna look like in the gym before I could go work out. I know that sounds backwards, and I know it is. But that's where I say do any movement that feels good to you. What I didn't take into account was all the walking sessions that I had with girlfriends. And those walking sessions, it was stress relief, not only emotionally, mentally decompressing from the day, but I was physically getting it out, right? And I didn't realize, but that hour walk with a girlfriend was like so healing to every part of my body. And when I don't get it now I meditate, or now I just kind of do a little yoga. Sleep. Always make sure to sleep. I would say sleep before you even go work out, right? So if it's a matter of working out or sleeping, sleep first. Because restoration is going to do more for your body than exhaustion. And that's something I often have to teach my clients. They'll be like, I gotta get to the gym. No. If your body is hurting for sleep, that gym's going to do just as bad as you skipping a meal. And then schedule fun time. So those walks are the equivalent of that fun time, right? But whatever that fun time is, whatever makes you laugh or smile. If it's racing your friend up the stairs once or twice, throughout the day, make sure it's just something you enjoy, okay? And I invite you all to connect with me. So to the far left there, you'll see my picture, and below it says connect with me. I've got, of course, my contact phone number if you want like a free, just one-on-one strategy session, just to talk about what some easy next steps would be for you. And then I also have like my Facebook page, as well as a group that I have, which is called the Healthy and Stress-Free Weight Loss Support Group for Women, where I give tips, tricks, and advice on what to do next in your weight loss journey. Again, thank you so much. I'm going to be here hanging out and learning all about Young Living with you guys. And I look so forward to just being in this wonderful oil community. Thank you. Thank you so much. That was awesome. Oh, you got your phone. Well, look at